Can you remember when you were young and you looked at old people and they seemed really old? Even my parents in their 40s seemed really old when I was young. And that's the way we go on. As a school kid, as I grew up, I wished I was an adult. I know it sounds crazy now when you think back, doesn't it? But that was how I was. And when I was in my 20s, I thought I knew it all. Little was I to know that all the learning comes after that and not before. And the funny thing is, by the time I got to my 40s, I wanted to be a kid again and do away with all the responsibilities. So why am I talking about this today? Well, Tyler Walker wanted to know my position and how I felt about aging. And so I suppose this is it. I don't think I feel my age, and I'll tell you why I think that. If I'm going to a shop, I hold the doors open for old people. And it wasn't until recently that I realised that I was opening doors for people who are probably younger than I am. It's one of those things I've never got to grips with, the fact that I've aged. The only time I feel like I've aged, really, is when I go and have a wash in the morning and I wash my face and look in the mirror and think, who's that old guy? Because inside, I think like most people, I probably think I'm still 25. I only think that fitness-wise, it's been since I lost my kidney that I feel any older. Because I was 56 when that happened, I think it took me a bit longer to recover than I would have done had it happened when I was younger. And so I kind of think that fitness-wise, I feel older than I did. I mean, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to be running anywhere anytime soon unless I'm getting chased by a bulldog or a Rottweiler or a Doberman or something like that, because that's not me. And I think what you've got to realise, and I certainly have done as I've got older, is that getting older is a privilege that a lot of people don't get. And I know this for the amount of funerals that I've been to for people who didn't make my age. And there are actually loads. You don't think about it when you were young. But as I've got older, I've realised that so many people, so many of my peers, died way before they got into their 50s. And that's a horrible thing, but it's just a fact of life. So I've kind of, especially since my kidney operation, it's almost 8 years ago now, since then I've realised that life is most definitely to be celebrated, because I could so easily have been one of those numbers that didn't make it. And when I look back over all the years, it's really funny how that each decade has seemed like another chapter in my story. From being a child, growing up and being a teenager, and then owning my own business, then getting married, and so on and so on. As you look back, life has very much been like a book, and as it's gone on, it's been surprisingly complex for a few years. And now, as I've got past my 50s and I'm into my 60s, it seems to have evened out a bit. And for that, I'm really grateful. And if there's anything that sticks with me at my age, is that you no longer feel the urge to conform with what everybody says. I never liked doing it anyway. I'm one of those people that never really managed to be one of a crowd. I always felt there was like some kind of internal politics, if you like, and there was always someone striving to be the leader of the group, and that was never something that I wanted to do. But what I also think is that once upon a time, when I was younger, I would go along with things just to not rock the boat. But as I've got to my age now, kind of don't care anymore. And one of the things I've really enjoyed now is that even though I'm open to new experiences that I may not have tried when I was younger and had more responsibility with family and kids and all that stuff, I'm just as likely now and just happy now to say no if I don't want to do something. And I've realised that one of the things with age is you don't have to explain yourself. Once upon a time, I would have been saying no and trying to think of all the different reasons that I didn't want to do it, but didn't want to say it in case I upset the person asking me to do something. But now I just go, no, don't want to do it. And that's one of the beauties of age as well, I think. And change. I think as you get older, you discover that change is something we just have to live with. It's always a big worry when you're younger about things happening that's going to change the course of your life. But I've discovered, as I've got older, that change is going to happen. And it's how you think about it that's going to affect you. I choose to try and think positively about things that involves me. So if something's going to change and I've got to roll with the flow, that's what I'll do. It's a bit different when it comes to the whole wide world, because you can look around you and beat yourself up, especially as you're getting older, and be more fearful of the future. However, I kind of learned when I had this operation, when I had the squatter on my kidney, that when it comes to it and you think about what's important to you, do you know, the only thing that was important to me were the people that I loved and the people that I cared for. All the rest of it is just stuff. And that's how I kind of think about the outer world, if you like. And I try and do things, do the stuff that you can do and get involved where you can. But for the bigger world, just let it drift over you, because for the most time, it doesn't tend to involve you as much as you think it might. I know I mention it a lot, and I talk about my age, and I talk about it more for people who are younger and watching this, because I'm trying to give them a perspective from my age group. But I don't actually think about age and aging, really. It's not something that plays a major part in my life, and I kind of just look forward and see where we're going to go, if you like. That's how it works for me. And I don't think you have to let age define you as a person. I think at all ages, really, but in my age particularly, it's great to be childish. It really is. I don't think anything of getting up in the morning and dancing around the bedroom in my underwear. It's just a bit of fun. I'll walk down a shopping aisle in a shop and burst into the song what's ever playing, and I already know my voice is damned awful. So we provide, I kind of probably provide a little bit of entertainment. I know that when Debs and I go shopping, we like this one lady who serves on the tills, and I don't know what it is, but she thinks we're hilarious in the way that we act together. And I think that's great that someone should think that you are, because we're all inclined to take life too seriously. And when you're getting older, it's easy to feel worse about things. But I don't think you should. I'm having as much fun now as I ever have. And one of the things that's helped me with that is, I talked about it recently on a video, about finding little small pieces of joy in your day. And I think if you can do that and your mindset is going to that way, then age doesn't really matter, you know. If I think about it, if you can equate the words to Frank Sinatra's song, Young at Heart, and I think that's really true, you know. The younger you feel and you think as you get older, the better your life's going to be. Because fairy tales do come true. It can happen to you. when you're young at heart. Now, how corny is that? Oh, I don't know why I did that, but I did. It's done now. I'm sorry about that. And that's it for today. If you've enjoyed the video, please, you know the things to do. Like, subscribe, hit that button, you know. And I will see you next time. Over there, I'm going to put a link to the video that I'm sure YouTube thinks you want to watch next. I'll see you next time.